Generic greetings and welcome back once again to Prison Architect. Today's beverage is a very refreshing and, I was going to say nicely chilled, however it's an ice drink, so it's more than nicely chilled. It is a freezing iced lemonade, a mint variation, I should point out. Either way, welcome back to the game. And previously we were building this, which is, as you may be aware, our sort of island no perimeter wall facility. I say no perimeter wall, but yeah, if you're aware of the previous episodes, we had a little bit of a problem. I want to say a little bit, it was basically game breaking, where this became the perimeter wall and they weren't leaving. And it was, oh yeah, we've tried so much to get this thing working. It is working as a facility. It is in profit. It is fairly secure. It is not very good when it comes to reform at 51%, but we are transitioning over to having maximum security inmates from the normal inmates. Let me just go ahead and start building over here while we have a little bit of a catch-up, because that's going to be one of the last buildings that we finish off in this, which is probably going to be the last building episode of the series, because I'm really not too sure where we go from here. Obviously, in the previous episode, I was basically spending a lot of money and time on putting in these lined tiles. Obviously, we did get some more building done, like over here, and there's the workshop still to be working on and such. But yeah, we were working on all of that and just sort of tidying the thing up. But originally, this was supposed to be the perimeter. Well, we weren't going to have a perimeter, and we were going to rely on the snipers and the searchlights. And we still do for the most part. Obviously, there's still this sort of augmentation that we made where we put in these doors here, so that is now the external part of the facility. And I mean, it does sort of work, and it is sort of still within the spirit of the whole idea, but yeah, I'm really not too sure where we go. So I'm just going to finish off some building, put in some more tiles, and let's see how we go from there. Like I said, we are transitioning over from medium security over to maximum security. People have suggested in previous episodes a couple of things. Firstly, to do with the whole problem where this was all insecure, and yeah, basically all of these guys in the cells were handcuffed and such, mainly centering around adding in doors. So what we would do, people have suggested things like this and have like a double door. I mean, I don't know if that would fix the issue. I have done a little bit of a test and it doesn't seem to, but maybe on a larger scale it would have some effect. But the solution we went well with is obviously with these doors here, and as I said, I think it does still comply to the spirit of the challenge. But anyway, let's just see how we get on in this one, and let's go over to here, and it's going to be a training room, and it's going to go, hang on, wait, is it a training room? I'm pretty sure it is. Yes, it is. So what do we need? We need desks, we need chairs, we need all of that sort of thing. So I'm going to put this thing, and then we'll put a blackboard in, because why not? And what else? We need lots of chairs, don't we? Yes. So I'm going to put just rows and rows of chairs like this. And I wonder if we're going to have stuff getting rebought again and again and again. Oh, should we put like a leather chair in there for no reason? Then we can. No, let's not be too silly on that one. Let's see if I can find. Where is it? The swivel chair? Yeah, we'll put a swivel chair in. Why not? And we need to put in the grit bin, which you can't rotate. The grit bin can go around the back there. First aid on the front, and then a rat trap can go like so, because that's all we really need. And then we're going to fire up some training. Specifically, it's going to be the first aid training. If we go over to the programs and staff programs, you can see we've got fire safety training and first aid training. Guard taser certification is locked because we haven't got that, well, unlocked. So yeah, let's see how they get on with that one there. In terms of what's to finish off with, really, I need to put in some maybe walkways around here, basically around all of these buildings. I'm not going to have this building. I don't really know what to do with it, so I think I'm just going to knock back all of this brick. Like I said, we will put a little bit of a walkway around here just to sort of tidy things up and finish things off, really. And yeah, that's what we'll do. But like I say, it's functioning as a facility. I don't know if it's functioning well. In terms of reform, not so much. Reform is at 53%. So, well, we've had better days, haven't we? Anyway, yeah, so max speed that out and see how we get on. See if we actually get some more double purchases, which does seem to be a bit of a thing. There's a window glass large. Let me sell that object. We've also got some computer stations, which, again, I'm not too sure what's happening there. And, oh, let me go ahead and pause it for a moment, because this person here has destruction and attacked staff as recent misconduct. I thought it was going to be an escape, but apparently not. Anyway, let's max it out, go to deployment, go to staff only, and change that to staff only, and I'm not too sure why that's as it is there. Okay, interesting. In terms of flooring, I think we're going to go with... Oh, going with the flooring tile would actually help, wouldn't it? We're going to go with that bit of flooring there, and while I'm in here, I might as well put in the rest of the flooring around the perimeter of the facility. So, yeah, let's see how long this is going to take and how much money it's going to take as well. Obviously, I'll have to come back to sort that out, and I'm just pausing it for a moment because I saw someone... same person. Yeah, there's destruction and attacked staff. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to go around the perimeter of this. Actually, what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go to there because I'm going to knock back all of this wall anyway because I don't really need it. So demolish walls here and then knock it to there, knock this to there, and then planning. I'll just remove that bit of planning. Like I said, when we originally designed this, it was a case of this is going to be a building, and we didn't really set it as any specific thing, for good or ill. Don't know how that fares or not. Do we want to go around here? I think we probably do. This is going to be a bit scrappy to try to get done, but we'll see how we get on. I think it would be to there, wouldn't it? Yeah. And we don't necessarily need all of this, I should point out. Which is a bit of a damning thing to say, to be fair, but you know, it's just something that we are sort of finishing off with. So most of that is correct. I think I need to go around here again. This is going to be a little bit more difficult. Actually, it's going to be a lot difficult when you've got absolutely zero money. Let me go over to programs and to first aid training. We'll fire that up. In fact, we'll have a couple of those because why not? In terms of grants, we do have a couple of grants on the go. We've got the Reform Through Education Initiative, we've got the Prison Manufacturing Facility, and then finally we've got the Cell Block C, which is raised prisoner capacity to 100, which we will not get. A lot of people have suggested changing these to dormitories and adding in some bunk beds, and that is possible, but I'm not too sure what else that would really afford us other than just more inmates and potentially more escapes, although for a facility that was based around having very little external security and going for obviously snipers and guard towers, which I still think is an interesting concept, and we've had a fairly decent success with it in spite of the basically the flaw and restriction in game of basically it doesn't work. Yeah, we've got on fairly well. Anyway, over to here. And I'm just going to run, obviously, the perimeter walkway, I guess, and it's going to cost me a pretty penny to finish off, and obviously we'll have to make sure that we get it right. I'll have to probably redo a couple of bits, but I'll let the workers crack on there. So yeah, we've got in the training room, which is good, and look at the amount of uniforms. And I think that guy had like 6 uniforms in there. That's Andrew Salt. Okay. But yeah, I need to finish off the workshop. Laundry baskets are unable to be unloaded. The laundry may be too small to meet the demand. Okay, interesting. Yeah, there's obviously something going on with that. There's still more laundry here. I mean, I could put in more washing machines, but that probably wouldn't help out. I've had facilities twice, like maybe even more than twice the size of this one, inmate-wise, and 2 washing machines often does. In fact, if you go the other way and put too many in, I've found that it basically breaks. So, yeah, let's finish off the flooring as best we can. It's going to be a case of just going around and putting in whatever we need, and something like that, and then like that, and then like that. Obviously, they're still working on stuff, but... yeah, this one's going to have to be redone a little bit as well. Not going to be too much of a drama. There we go. Already done this bit. There was a section missing around here, but I've fixed that now, so that's all good. That can go in there, that can go in there. And it looks like they are pretty much finishing this off. I'm going to assume, perhaps wrongly, that there will be something missing somewhere, because there often is. In fact, I've just found a bit there. This is all planned off. This is planned off. And... I think that's roughly right. Okay, how much have we got? We got nearly 8 grand. Nowhere near enough to finish over here, but certainly we can, if we need to, pick up a loan, and I probably will do that just to finish this off. Let me go to increase loan. That's 25 grand for the loan there, and it's workshop saws and it's workshop presses. So I don't want to buy in too much in case the game basically glitches out and goes sort of double down on buying stuff. Let me go ahead and see if I can sell some of this. So let's sell that object there, sell the chair. Got a window there, prayer mats, we've got phone booths, we've got computer stations, and there's another chair to get sold as well. And there's the visitor boat, which I will promptly dismiss the vehicle, and same over here, dismiss vehicle. Yeah, I just think the way the game's going with like the boats getting stuck and the double buyout, as well as the issues we've had with just the design and limitations of the game and such, I think we are probably best to call it a day and finish up with this one. We will do some extreme testing. I don't know about escaping, because I don't think escape is actually possible. Escaping wise, the problem is you have to swim, and there's sniper towers absolutely everywhere. The only real way of doing something is to be lucky, and if I was to run around here, and I might be able to get across there, but I think the buildings, no, they'll probably still get line of sight. At least this one will definitely have line of sight over, yeah, that way. Or I could swim down that way and round. I don't know, I might attempt an escape. We'll have to see what happens. But the testing is actually one of the things I'm most excited about, mainly because I have no idea what would happen if we force all the prisoners to try and leave, and how many may get out if they're going to swim across. Because obviously the snipers, they've only got a certain amount of, well, rate of fire essentially. They've only got a certain amount of that. So yeah, it's not like unlimited or anything. Anyway, let's go ahead, and I can see I've got a carpenter's table in the storage, so I'm going to have to go back and sell that. That's all I can get for now. Let me go ahead and go to the carpenter's table. We're going to sell object, which is, oh, it's a nice bit back there. In terms of inmates, 10 medium security, 30 maximum, so that's all good. That's all good. Oh, we're actually in a negative bank balance now, which is not good. There's a press, which we have a spare one for some reason because of game, and we need just 2 more. Obviously I've put in the carpenter tables. I don't think they'll ever get used. In fact, to be honest, the size of this workshop, it is completely oversized for the sort of type of facility that we have, and even when we have the inmates assigned to it, they're not actually working on it, even though we've got, should we have a quick look, logistics and prison labour. Max jobs is 32, qualified prisoners is 8, and people are still doing the solar panel development as well. But yeah, we're not really producing anything over there, even though we've had some training. You see there's some license plates blanks there, so people have done some of the training. In fact, we've double checked that one. Programs and prisoner programs. We have a workshop safety induction, 1 interested, 17 finished, 14 passed, 82%. Okay, so those that have passed probably aren't in here anymore because it only says 8, so they've been trained up and then they've left, either via parole or they've finished their sentence or whatever it happens to be, basically. So, yeah. Do you still have a little bit more provision for wind, solar, hybrid and green energy? I might look at doing that. 1 prisoner passed the general education course, general education qualification, 2 finished, 0% passed, obviously 0 pass rate on that one, which is a bit of a shame, but 2 people are assigned to that one, so we might get lucky, but I think we'll end up running out of time. In fact, the foundation education, only 1 interested. I'm going to stop that one, try and save us a few generic units of currency. I mean, things like flower therapy and stuff, there's only like 1 interested on that one. Animal therapy, there's only 1. And there's basically 1 on pretty much everything, so I'm going to stop a lot of these just because it'll save us a bit of money. But do I want to do... Yeah, I'll get rid of that one and get rid of the animal therapy one. So a lot of the programs that we were running, they're not really being attended, so no real point in wasting the money on that one. Okay, so there we go. That is the last remaining in this area. And then for flooring, I might go with... what shall I go for? We've got Solaco, we've got Mosaic. Actually, I might go with Mosaic because it'll be... I was going to say fairly cheap, and it is fairly cheap. It's only 10 generic units of currency for every square, but even then I can't build the rest of it. Let me just go to planning and just remove all further planning because we don't need that one, and then I'll actually apparently place some more over there. We're running seriously low on cash according to the game. It's been a while since it has recommended us getting some death row. There was never any chat or provision for that in this one. Same for protective custody, but we haven't really had a huge amount of problems there. Prisoners escape 0, deaths in custody, it's, I'm going to say only 3. Obviously, it's ideally you'd wanted it 0, but we've had it a lot worse in a lot more secure facilities. So yeah, we'll I guess thank it for that one. Yeah. Okay. 1,541, actually 1,756 now. Still not enough to do the workshop, and I don't know. I was going to say, what's that in that corner? It is a light. Yeah, I don't know really what else we can do or what we need to do, really. Obviously, we're doing the training for the inmates over here. Excuse me, should I mean the security staff, and that means that they can heal people, but we don't really have a big issue there. We do have a big issue when it comes to the prison uniforms. However, it is functioning, as we can see there. Laundry machine is actuating. We've got people working on this one. Let me just do a quick pause and go for prison labour. And yeah, people are assigned to this one. So we have lots of people assigned to the max jobs 8. Qualified prisoners 40 yet. There's nobody working on it, and it's still work-free time. So there's still something, I think, dodgy going on when it comes to the whole work thing, because obviously we've got like all of these assigned, and we can sort of remove all of those and then assign them back again, and then it's pretty much not going to do anything, apparently. Okay. That's a thing. I was tempted to put the boat dock all the way around the outside, but that's going to take far too much time and money for me to do that, so yeah, we will not bother. Anything else to sell over here? Well, we do have a workshop press, so we'll sell that. We have in storage, which is fine. We are not exporting anything. The rest of it is pretty much done. In fact, it just occurred to me that the boat dock and the textures for, what is it, the dock wooden is the same, I believe. I mean, I can hardly see because it's so dark, but yeah. Anyway, while we're in flooring here, mosaic, and we will put in the mosaic like so, and that should be that pretty much done. So yeah, okay. Where else do we really go from here? I'm not too sure, apart from a bit of testing, what else we could do. Like I said, the original plan was to have a facility with no perimeter wall, and we've still, I think, stayed true to that. Because we don't have a wall around here, stuff can be thrown in. In fact, is anything planned? No, nothing is planned. In fact, to be fair, contraband, considering how things have gone, should I say, contraband's actually not really something we have to worry too much about. I mean, obviously, we've only got 40 inmates, so there's not going to be a huge amount being ordered and thrown in anywhere. But, yeah, like I said, not having a perimeter wall, relying on snipers as well as the searchlights in the guards towers, that was the main focus of the facility, and it still is. It's just a case of, sadly, we had to change it up with these dolls. So this is basically the exterior, and well, inmates don't seem to mind it. They seem to be fairly content. What is a good takeaway, I think, is that this sort of big internal square for the cell blocks, where we have a mixture of common room, yards, flower gardens, canteens. Maybe it's not just a flower garden because they cause huge amount of contraband. Not that we've had any. I don't think we've ever found a tunnel. Inmates don't seem to really want to tunnel, and escape plans are turned on, so yeah, have to remind myself of that one. Let's go over to wind solar hybrid and place that in there. Obviously, we could do a couple more, but don't think we absolutely need to do that one. Let me just double check some of these here. So general education has been run. Workshop safety is pretty much completed. Yeah, 18 finished, 15 passed, so we'll stop that one. We are running parole hearing, 51 finished, 20 passed, which is a 39% pass rate. Okay. Average punishment grade is 8, reform is 8. That's actually really good. Work experience is poor, but as I said, I think there's something dodgy going on with that one, or they just refuse to work because it's maximum security. Average security grade is 2, and health is, well, -1, because that's pretty much the best you're going to get unless you start doing loads of programs and also have the food all turned on. In fact, I think the only way to really get it higher is if you're on, where is it, policy, and you basically go for sort of homegrown food, although we can't see it because we haven't got that turned on. But yeah, overall, it's been a facility, and that's I think the most generous way. I mean, we shouldn't knock it too much. It's not. It's very secure, even in spite of its obvious downsides. And I'm glad we attempted it. But yeah, I guess the best thing to say is it is what it is, and within the confines of the systems involved, it yeah, it has sort of worked. Let me dump that because we don't need it. What has been a bit sobering is just how expensive it is to run with 10 snipers. Every sniper, let's double check. We've got no armed guards, so that's good. Every sniper is 5,000 per day. So basically, yeah, it's 5,000 for the full 10 snipers. 5,000 just on the wages for the snipers alone. Then you've got the dog handlers, the guards, the workers, which I could probably pare down, doctors, cooks, all of the other support staff as well. But it's a low volume facility, and obviously with only 40 inmates, we don't need an excess amount of guard. And I reckon with this warden that we have, when I double check the warden, I don't know if it tells me. Let's see, warden. I cannot see. There you go. So that's Car Hide. It says improves the range of snipers and improves the suppression effect of snipers. I think we could probably have went with 1, 2, 3. I reckon we could go away with 4 snipers instead of the 10 that we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 8 guard towers and 10 snipers. Obviously, we have to account for them taking breaks and such. But yeah, that's been a bit of Prison Architect. Hang on, wait, is that not, that's not been fully finished off? Let me go ahead and go 1, 2. And now I think it pretty much is sorted. Either way, I'm glad we've attempted this one. I'm going to do a follow-up episode, at minimum with the extreme testing where we force prisoners to escape, to fight, do all that, because I genuinely want to see what happens when we induce that behaviour, because, well, it's an island facility with no real security. I do think the snipers will be overwhelmed, but the fun is in finding out, and then I may or may not attempt an escape. We shall see. Either way, we're going to leave it there and see how we get on. I hope you have enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.